Hello and welcome to the Good, Bad, or Bullshit podcast. My name is Crofton Steers. I am the Pierce Brosnan of this podcast. With me, as always, my two co-hosts. I'm talking about the Sean Connery of this podcast, Michael Hodgins. Welcome, Michael.
I am the last one.
And of course, the Daniel Craig of this podcast. I'm talking about Bo Schwartz.
Really?
Continue
on. Get to our guest.
He's the sexiest one.
Oh, and this week in the crossover that ends all crossovers, bigger than Avengers Endgame, I'm talking about Dungeons and Diapers and Good, Bad, and Bullshit, one place. Ryan Murphy is joining us, or as we call him here, the Roger Moore of this podcast, Ryan Murphy.
Yeah.
See, I thought if you were gonna call me Daniel Craig, I'd make like a seatless chair joke, but I'm glad you gave Daniel Craig to.
What's this? What is the seatless chair? I don't know.
You need to see Casino Royale. I can't explain it, or else we'll probably get off the air.
Oh yeah. I remember now. Oh yeah, no. You guys can Google
where his testicles.
Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
I remember it now.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
When Mike did his Sean Connery, I was like, I think I've already done this one. That was my first thought. I'm like, but there wasn't four of us, so works better.
You could have done the Beatles because there's four of us.
Oh fuck, that would have been good.
Can we just?
But
let's just also... see. I should have hosted. This would have been much better.
Yeah,
There are other James Bonds. What about the guy who did one? Remember there was
George Lazenby. I was gonna use George Lazenby for Ryan Murphy.
That would kind of make sense.
That would be fine.
But then I would have omitted Roger Moore, and that wouldn't have felt right.
Roger Moore, in my opinion, is sort of the best because he was like
What?
because he was the physically lamest by far, and there's something about that that's sort of endearing to me. like you'd see like these shots. There were some that were so funny where it's like James Bond is skiing down the mountain with like a machine gun, and the guy's like doing, the stunt double's doing like a flip and then shooting the gun, and then it just cuts to a shot of Roger Moore with this like screen of a ski hill behind him, and he's kind of just swaying his hips a little bit. It's like totally unrealistic. I love that.
I think James.
I don't think I've
Snow
seen a
Plow.
Roger Moore.
Oh, well, Roger Moore and like Daniel Craig is into his 50s now too, but Roger Moore really stayed on long. Like his last James Bond movies, he was quite old and he wasn't like a fit late 50s, like he was like
I don't think he was a fit 30s. He was
maybe not, whatever.
He
but
was like the drinking scotch kind of actor,
Yeah. No, for sure. I think I nailed that intro. Now,
good job.
I just want to say that at full disclosure, I've been super sick this past week. I thought I had like walking pneumonia. That's what the doctor thought I had. I went for a chest scan and I just got it back. Turns out that's not what it is. But I'm going to be hacking all the time. I'll put myself on mute, hopefully not hack in our listeners' ears. But I may die during the course of this podcast. If so, I really hope that you guys will continue to the end, but then celebrate me as I lived.
I'm glad you spent a lot of time talking about your issues. But Ryan, welcome to the show. It's nice to have you here.
It's my second time, so
it's your second, but
fine.
welcome back. It's good to see you. And we're very sorry that Crofton's sick. He's currently coughing, and he's
not
sympathetic. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm so happy to be back. I love this show. I love your arguments. I don't know. The Amazon episode.
We've been
Amazon.
Yeah, we've been talking about having you back on because we're all.
It's been a couple years, hasn't it?
It's been a couple of years, and it's mainly just our disorganization. But the opportunity Crofton was sick, and Mike and I were like, "Sweet, let's bring Ryan on." Well, but
yeah,
Crofton
body's not even cold yet.
Yeah, try not to do the show without anyone. Like we experimented with that early on, where if someone was sick, we'd still do the show, and it just never felt the same.
Yeah, you need more than two people to really get the cross flow going.
But I'm glad Crofton's here, and I'm glad you're going to carry him this episode. Now, he promised that he wasn't going to contribute a lot to the show, but he really bungled the intro in a sense, in that the first topic of conversation was himself.
Well, I was just making a disclosure because I know that the Croftaholics will be listening to the show and be like, "Where's Crofton? Why isn't he talking?" And on the video version, you can sort of see me physically fade. But
Yeah.
like for them, they're not going to hear it because I'm going to be courteous and I'm going to mute it.
That's true.
So,
It's a good point. Good point.
one thing I will say as host with the most is that as you guys know, and it's still a new thing for the listeners, we do this thing now where one of us brings a topic as opposed to just the random topic generator. Now it's a mystery to all the others, so we're still discussing something that we don't know what is going to come out, but somebody is responsible for bringing that thing. And normally it's one of the three of us, but this time, because Ryan, to his eternal credit, last time was on this show, we drew cosmetics, and he had to play well outside of his normal wheelhouse. This time, he, as guest, will be bringing the topic. Now, I don't want to jump right into it, but I'm just saying that he's gracing us with more than his presence. He's also gracing us with what will be an amazing topic, I'm sure, Ryan.
Oh,
Great.
No
I'm glad I
pressure.
spent a lot
No
of time on
pressure.
this.
It better be good. No.
I know. We were even talking pre-show about like, oh, I had this topic and I was so nervous when I was trying to come up with it. And then I told you my backup. I was like, yeah, we did that one kind of already. It's like, whoa, hopefully this other one is that's
We've done some pretty fluff episodes. You can't really go wrong.
If you pick one that we did already, don't be embarrassed. It's fine.
I also like how for your original topic, Ryan was like, "Well, I'm concerned that this may reflect poorly on me with my work." And I was thinking to myself, "Man, the amount of topics and sound bites that would reflect poorly on me at work.
That's true.
If I censored them, I would have never done any of the shows."
They keep giving you jobs, so frankly, this podcast can do no wrong.
It has to do with the lack of listenership of this podcast, mostly, and less to do with the quotes in particular.
Oh well, we need to like pull them out and put them on Twitter and like pay for advertising or something. I don't know.
But to be fair, Crofton also wants to steer. Because I remember one time wanted to be like, let's talk about communications, and you were like, it's a bit too close. It's what I do every day. We didn't get into that one as a thing. Everyone has their like buffer. I don't know what my job is. Complaining, I think, full time is pretty much what I do at work. So
do you really? I thought maybe you just did it with us. You do it.
No, I complain like mad at at work about the system of bureaucracy and all this kind of stuff.
Well, I wasn't inviting you to talk about it.
Oh, okay, thanks, bro. Okay. Cut him off halfway.
All right. Well, with that all said, let's get into the topic. All right. I'm excited. I can't wait to find out what this is going to be. And it has been a few weeks since we've recorded, so I'm also just kind of excited to see everyone. All right. We gave your topic to the bird, so the bird is going to fly down and deliver it to you. Oh, wait. Nope, that's not a bird. Here it comes. Oh, what? Don't let it get in your hair. All right, yeah, good. Okay. What do we got, Ryan? What is happening today?
All right. We are going to talk about wearable tech.
Oh, I like this one. Yeah, okay. I'm into it. You got one winner at least on the panel.
Yeah. No, I'm on board.
Okay, so describe where. So right now, I have some earphones in my ears. Is that wearable tech?
I think it's close. It's like it's getting right up on that line, and I think where I kind of drew it from is like, so I have an Apple Watch. I would consider that very wearable tech. I have AirPods, wireless sort of earbuds or sort of headsets, that sort of thing. That would be wearable tech. Fitness bands were kind of, I think, what started the craze before pagers or after pagers, I suppose. But fitness bands for like tracking steps and your heart rate and stuff. And then also looking at that short-lived fad of like smart glasses. Although I was looking into it, I guess you can get like Bluetooth glasses now that have like speakers built into them for your ears, which kind of sounds cool, but also expensive. And then, all the way down to virtual reality, sort of like headsets. They have them cordless now, right? And I think that's the big thing is anything that doesn't have you tethered feels more like wearable tech as opposed to, say, like you're saying, like your earbuds, that are wired into something, or an Oculus Rift that has to be wired to a PC, as opposed to an Oculus Quest or Go that is totally cordless and it's wearable technology.
You mean like fully wearable, like not like, because glasses are technology, but they're so
Yeah.
commonplace. Like, we learned to mold whatever
That
it
is
is that you make
interesting.
glasses and frames, and then figured out how to make our vision better. Like, it's technology.
I think like
But
anything with a sort of like a computer chip or some sort of computing device that
okay,
you
I'm
strap
I'm
to yourself.
I'm good with that. I just want to make sure I
Yeah.
can take things quite
No, for
literally
sure.
sometimes. And your
No,
t-shirt,
that's.
your
I thought
t-shirt's
that was
technology.
interesting.
Putting clothes
Yeah,
on is
clothing is
technology.
definitely technology. No,
But
and that
Yeah.
is an interesting
That's a good
differentiating
point. I
point.
never thought about that.
The whole, but I think we know what you're talking about. Like,
Yes.
as soon as you said, I was like, Google Glass. Like, let's get the Google Glass out. But what's funny
I just like the way
is
you
that
said Google Glass.
Google
nobody, like,
Glass.
everyone was like, "That's dumb. I don't want to pay money for that
Yeah.
thing." But
Also,
like,
it
look,
didn't ever come out.
I'm holding up my
Yeah.
phone, and what's interesting is a bunch of the stuff that you talk, like the phone, is that wearable tech? Because a bunch of the things, like say the Fitbit and some of these other things, like your phone does a lot of the stuff that
Mhm.
the wearable tech also does. But I'm
Mhm.
like, is a phone, like, I would never consider that wearable tech, but I do. Is in my pocket.
Mhm.
It's tech. I don't know.
I think your phone definitely, so early days of wearable tech, like the early Fitbit and even early Apple Watch, is that most of the functionality was powered by your phone. However, there's still a lot of computing and technology that is happening on the wearable. Nowadays, you can leave your phone at home and your watch or your Fitbit, or even your uh, or your Oculus for that matter, it's all on its own. Like, it doesn't require that tether, whether it's wireless tether to a computing device or a physical tether. So
Uh,
I think you're
it-
right. Like, a phone could be close, like putting it in your pocket. That's more like portable tech to me, but I guess most wearable tech is
Yeah,
portable
I
as
wouldn't. I
well,
wouldn't.
right?
Okay, I wouldn't put the phone as wearable. You don't.
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Wearing
mean,
is
I
very
agree.
specific. Yeah, you don't wear a phone.
Although, like, I mean, it is one of those things. Like, yeah, it is portable tech, but a lot. Mike is right. A lot of the wearable stuff works off of the phone, and you see, like when they're jogging and they got those
Mhm.
armbands with the phone stuck in them. I'm like, they're essentially making it into something that is more wearable because the phone is so small as a piece of portable tech that you can do that with. Now, I would just point out that this is something that I had like bias against um as early as before this Christmas. Okay. So like we had done an episode fairly recently on data and getting all this data and
Wasn't that recent? But yeah, big data.
yeah, whatever. Big
It's
data.
in the last decade.
And we talked about it, and like I am honestly apprehensive about a lot of this stuff. I've searched like ways that I can make my phone share less, like what are little tips and tricks that I can share less data with the world. Like it's I don't want to say I'm paranoid, but I don't want to feed throw all my data out there for anyone to take advantage of and to go through. And so wearable tech to me was always like, and I've always been like this. Like even before cell phones, I was when it was flip phones, I was like, oh, I didn't like the idea that the government could follow me via satellites. I'm like, and my wife would be like, why would they do that? I'm like, I don't know. Same reason I don't get a tattoo. If I ever go on the run, I don't want them to be able to track me down. But
They'll,
so
they'll they'll be able to track you down.
so
Yeah,
Like,
they
follow the
got you.
empty pizza
Yeah,
boxes.
it'll be like a block from your house where you're
Yeah.
tired on the side of the
Get a
I'm
road.
like,
credit card,
oh
they
my
got
god.
you.
Does he have any notable
give up,
tattoos?
I give up.
Yeah, I'm like, I give up. I'm
Yeah,
sick
look
right
for the
now.
guy with no tattoos.
Yeah,
See, you got to get
yeah.
a tattoo now. So
Yeah, to differentiate myself. But
yeah.
no, I just like so I was not on board with having tech on me at all times that allows me to contribute to the data sphere to a certain extent, right? Although the phone, the amount of conveniences and the way it's ingrained itself into my lifestyle is not something that I can do without. So for me, it that continues to be a big thing. But my wife got me over Christmas the Samsung earbuds, and essentially they're I thought for sure this is like me losing it written all over it. Like
Samsung
I
earbuds?
can barely keep my regular headphones, like I don't even know where they are half the time. And I'd see people in the bus with these like little earbuds or whatever, and I'd be like, they must lose those all the time, and they must be really annoying or whatever to set up. So ever since I've had these Samsung earbuds, which are like really small ones because they're not all the same. Like you see these Apple ones that stick out quite a bit. These things, like you can literally not tell that I'm wearing them, especially if I'm wearing a toque. And they have little touch pads so I can stop a thing, fast forward, or just. And it's really like a small quality of life thing, but now I can't do without them. I'm just like, man, these things are amazing. Like, be it for doing exercise or just like getting out and about, doing stuff in the kitchen. And it's like, I'm like, this is like just a little quality of life thing, and it's made a big difference for me.
Wait,
So
so
all of a sudden, it's had me rethinking stuff like all the stuff that I've been against. Like I've been against those iWatches or even Fitbits and testing your sleep patterns and all this shit. Now I'm starting to be like, wow, maybe I should check this shit out.
So you said Samsung earbuds?
Yeah, they work with the Samsung Galaxy.
Are they like AirPods?
Phones. Yeah, they're
wireless,
like,
cordless. Okay, I never heard of them before. I just knew that Apple had some. Okay.
Yeah.
So you haven't dropped any in the toilet yet?
No, so they come in this little case, right? And they charge in the case because they need battery power to operate. And like, but all of these things feel expensive. Like they feel higher quality, everything is nicer. And so you treat them differently. And as soon as you do that, it becomes less likely that you're going to lose them. And because they exist in this little cylinder,
how long have you had
I always
them for?
keep in my jacket since Christmas.
Yeah, I think it's too small of a sample size.
That's a month.
You're like, I'm totally not going to lose it. I value these too much. It's been
1 month.
3 weeks.
For me, that's good.
He's not wrong. Like I got the Apple AirPods, and they're the same idea. They come in a little case, and they're very, very small. And you'd be surprised, I the way I do it is I put them right back in the case when I'm done with them, and I put them, and the case is always in my pocket when I'm out and about. But he's right, the convenience of putting in, as I'm doing right now, one earbud and having that in. Sometimes it'll be in there all day as I'm sort of listening to podcasts and going from conversation to conversation. So that's where I think I get into the wearables, where it's like, it's great, it's convenient. However, it sometimes like makes you a worse person as you're walking around with this little thing in your ear that looks like it's not even a style. I think we got really used to the Bluetooth headsets and what those look like. And then the Apple AirPods came out, and they completely changed how everyone designs their wireless.
I mean, earbuds, I would jump in and stop you and say that I never got used to those Bluetooth ear things, because every time I see some, it's always like a 50-year-old dude walking with with one of those Bluetooth things sticking outside his head, and it always just looks to me like a disgusting growth that's just like hanging out of this guy's ear. It's like it's not an attractive look, and I'd say the Apple ones are a step in the right direction. I haven't seen Crofton's, but I feel like if you can make things small, which you can, because look, they make hearing aids. Oh yeah, there's wearable tech, hearing aids for old people, which you can't see, right? Whoa. And I'm like, why do? Because usually when I see someone with like a plastic thing hanging out of an orifice in their body, it's not an attractive look.
Speak for yourself. I've seen a few orifices.
You like with plastic stuff,
with attractive plastic stuff hanging out of it.
I guess we can all infer what that means. But I guess it just doesn't. It doesn't
or
do
is
that
it a
for me.
Topic?
as a look. Like I would, if I had like earbuds that we just couldn't see them, like what Crofton's describing. I'm like, to me, that's the way to go. Because I don't know, the little plastic nub. And I just feel like isn't it going to get caught and fall out?
Yeah, those don't exist. In mine, they're just like I put a link down in the thing. They're more like plugs.
They look like plugs.
You just pop them in, and you can't even really see them. So they're neat like that. But it is funny because you guys were like talking, and Bo has been open on the show about his fleshlight in the past.
Oh, good.
I was like,
about fleshlights.
What? I missed that episode. Did you edit that out?
Crofton likes bringing it up.
I'd like to point out. Yeah, because Crofton secretly wants one.
But that's wearable tech. I'm just saying.
I mean, it's wearable for.
It's not wearable.
A little bit.
You don't wear it.
That's not wearable tech.
Yeah, you don't take it out.
I've never worn it. I can't stay erect that long. Like it's to wear it. You don't wear.
All right. Sorry.
Okay,
You brought it up!
I should have picked the other topic. Honestly, that might have.
No, he was gonna
Yeah.
bring that up no
No.
matter what. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, actually, that's true. It would have worked
Yeah.
for the other one as well.
Yeah.
People are going to be writing in, wondering, I wonder what that other topic. It's not.
No, don't worry. No one writes in.
Okay,
There's no worries there.
that's not true. People write in all the time. There was one on that last
Yeah,
one.
Shane wrote in, man. Kel Norman.
remember
He's
Shane?
nice. He's good. I like that guy.
Don't you dare
So-
sully Shane.
So Crofton was bringing up something about this fleshlight that he wanted to.
I don't know. He said enough. Let's
What
go
are we
back to
talking
the
about?
guest.
I was just saying that, like, because like for me, it's when Ryan's talking about wearable tech, it's like it's easy to be like, okay, what are examples? So those earbuds I have experience with, I enjoy them. I see them as a positive thing, and I'm not worried about they may be sharing data, but they don't seem like that they're more like a linked thing with my phone. It's not doing
Yeah.
anything that my phone's not already doing. But like Fitbits, I actually now have a Fitbit because I won one somehow. I haven't opened it yet, and I don't know if I'm going to necessarily use it because again, I have this paranoid thing about tech and but
Really?
everybody.
Were you the one that got the free like Echo with groceries the other episode?
And you
like,
also
Yeah, but I
own-
didn't use it. I
Oh,
gave
okay.
it away. We gave it away to
keep it
somebody
away.
else.
we
Yeah.
leave it outside like the sad IKEA lamp.
You keep bringing this up, but I got to interject. You have an Android phone. If you gave a shit about this, you would have an iPhone because it's like the one thing that's known. If you care about your data and privacy, Androids it's a data vacuum
there's-
cleaner.
But
And Apple is shitty about things, but they're good about that.
But see, the Android stuff, because it's customizable, there is a lot of things that you can do to protect your data on it. Where Apple, you got to trust in Apple. Whereas Android, you can do some things. You're right, though. You're right.
Android, you
By
got to trust in
default,
somebody else, somebody who's making the app. Like, I mean, it's the same equation.
No, yeah, no. To a certain extent, you're right. But like, there are, you have a lot more control over settings than you do generally on the iPhones.
Sure.
But that said, it is maybe I'm being unreasonable on a lot of this stuff, and like even if the data is being going to big data or whatever, does that make this wearable tech not worth the cost? Like, is it still?
I just
like,
think that's
like-
true of any tech. It's not just wearable
Mhm.
tech. Like, I don't think
Yeah,
you can just say
that's
wearable
true.
tech. This is an issue, and it's not an issue for any other devices.
It's more that they're bringing you, like you're bringing it around with you. Like I see what he's saying. It's more like it's one thing just
Yeah,
tech,
sure.
but that's everything. He's totally right. That is everything.
It's everything
now.
you
It's
touch.
it's-
Like honestly, you
data.
walk into the local mall. Every store you walk by, they're pinging you. They know you're in that mall.
yeah, for sure.
They're collecting your data, maybe not as Crofton Steers, but as shopper number 1006,
course.
right? So
And
I
by
think
your
like
credit card number, like they track your shopping habits through your credit card number.
yeah, like it's all there. And I think if you shop on Amazon, even if you're not buying anything, they're still using your data against you. You go
But
and
they
buy
don't-
something on Amazon, and then you see, oh, there's an ad for that fridge I wanted to buy. That's
they-
weird.
They don't know what my heart rate is when I'm sleeping unless I
Ah.
give.
But what
unless-
if they did know that?
No,
Would that be
but-
the end of the world?
No,
That's
but it's-
boring.
No, but it's like if I give that to them, or like the jogging stuff, it's like, oh, you can check your pulse at different intervals. Like that's great.
Maybe
It's-
you not giving this information is what's holding society back. We're trying
Yeah.
to build technology.
Maybe your heart rate
That's
is the missing
exponential.
link between.
We need all that data in order for this machine learning AI that we have to develop needs that data.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you
They're
holding it back is you being selfish because humanity must move forward.
I
And-
just see the guy at the fleshlight factory. He's like, so
No.
we've looked at Bo's eye fleshlight, and again, it's 3 pumps tops. Like really,
You wanna borrow
I
it?
yeah, which means it's not wearable.
I don't know if we need to
Yeah, so
enhance.
let's
this
talk about
technology
wearable
further.
tech. We keep talking about fleshlight and data privacy.
Okay, I
Yeah, I don't
wait.
understand.
All right, so wearable. So the one thing that gets me about this, because again, when this topic first came up, the first thing I thought of was Google Glass,
Mhm.
and right now what we're talking about is a lot of things that seem to me as accessories to phones, and part of the thing to me about that, like, so when I think of Fitbit, I'm kind of like, yeah, Fitbit's cool. I'm like, it's an app on your phone too. Like I have an app, you have an app on, I have an app on my phone that measures my steps per day. It was free. You can get ones that cost some, that do better stuff. You can check your heart rate on your phone. All this stuff, like you can do it all there. So I'm like, okay, I don't see the need personally for an additional device where I have a device that does all those things. Where I do think it's interesting is where, when I think of wearable tech, I feel like, and the reason why I think of Google Glass, and interestingly, the hearing aid, though I didn't think of it initially, is actually a really good one, because it's sort of like a sense, it's like augmentation of reality, right? Like I think that's really where this stuff is going and where it's pretty interesting. Like, I mean, I imagine if you had a hearing aid that can not only like I love this, a hearing aid that not only can change the volume, but this is totally coming. This is going to be a hearing aid which is going to translate in real time, like that.
Yeah,
that will come.
Now we're talking.
And that kind of wearable tech,
Babelfish.
it is going to come. Because right now your phone is going to be close to that. And I mean, maybe this is just part of phone-enabled stuff. But I think about, like, if you are wearing glasses, a lot of us, like Ryan, you're wearing glasses, Bo's wearing glasses. I wear contact lenses. Pretty soon, I bet you'll have stuff like that where you can actually get data appearing on there or whatever you want. Now it's not just like, you're not just wearing a thing that's doing something else your phone does. It's actually doing that augmented reality thing, or it's more seamless with how you're moving through the world. And that seems to me different than just sort of an ancillary phone kind of side product. So
yeah, like I like your ideas there. And then the other one that they keep talking about, but I haven't seen it, is paper screens. So we have monitors right now. They're very thin, but they've been working on technology. This is some time ago, almost like 20 years ago. I might have read about this, of foldable paper that is a screen that it can animate. But it's a screen, but it's like paper. And if you have material like that, then you can make awesome rock band t-shirts that are just full music videos the whole time. And imagine everyone's, you watch like Ghost in the Shell, where people have these weird helmets and weird fashion. It's a monitor with maybe Doom's playing on my t-shirt, and the guy behind me can play Doom while he's walking behind me on there. Like, anyways, that's a cool idea. I don't really have an opinion about it.
I think the future of wearable tech is like, if you look at where it's come, and I know hearing aids is a great example of something that's been around for quite a while, and I honestly hadn't thought about that one. Would like a pacemaker be wearable tech?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's on you.
You don't wear something in your body. Sorry.
Guys. No,
I suppose.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's.
But isn't the hearing aid in your body? Like, it's kind of up in the ear.
No, but you take it out, right?
You do take it out. Yeah. So is wearable meaning you have to be able
to
like,
I think you drape on your body and then it's seamless.
I agree with that. Otherwise, it becomes like an implant.
My hip transplant, a wearable hip.
But see, that implant thing, I mean, I don't want to get like off topic into like, like let's all be cyborgs, but I feel like that to me is the natural. Yeah, Bo for sure does. He loves this transhumanist stuff. But to me, that is where these things are going in integration, like where people are already having implants just for body modification purposes. To me, to have one with the tech thing like that is just around the corner, like
a breast implant with also radio,
or that vibrates.
Antenna, like it has an antenna so you can hear the radio and you're through your bone. So you actually don't need headphones. I think if you connect something to your bone structure, the reverberation of the sound can actually just
they had those
in your ears. So
like jawbone ones.
Well, they have those communicators. Like, you can get walkie-talkies that are implanted in you where you can hear instructions from a
So
cool.
You don't need your ears to hear if it's in your bone structure.
Mike's hearing aid thing for me threw me for a loop because it's I cannot. Like, my mom desperately needs one. First off, mom, get a hearing aid. Secondly,
what?
My aunt just got one, and I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, thank God. So definitely a net positive. Like, but then I just think, like, every time I think about wearable tech and Bo's doomed shirt or whatever, and if you told me, like, okay, the next pair of shoes that you buy are going to have some sort of computer chip in it, and it's going to
track your steps,
and it's going to do something. It's going to track, it's going to track your steps. It's going to do all this other stuff.
You can search how to tie my shoes.
And the next hat that you wear is going to have a computer chip in it, and it's going to do some
Count
thing
your
or
steps.
whatever. Like, I don't know, count your steps. Yeah, they all count my steps. And like
That's the first thing
Well,
they
no,
do.
I know what
right?
the hat's
To
gonna
me,
do. You're gonna be able to launch a drone off. You'll have a drone on it,
it
and if you need to
just-
go pick something up, you press this button, and the drone will fly out and get it for you. and bring
does
it back.
I guess does that not
Never have to
sound
bend
like
down again.
a dystopia to anybody else?
I want a
Like,
drone hat.
I mean, it doesn't appeal to me, but at the moment I still see like a large percentage of people with the stupid Bluetooth things inside of their head, and it just looks dorky and dumb to me. I mean, I only see this stuff's going to be it's going to come when it's providing real value, and it's like is someone's like Bluetooth thing provided so they can answer their phone and talk to the air whenever they want. Is that I'm like, I don't know. It's not hard for me to take out my phone. And I also think there's still a bit of a service to society to be holding your phone rather than the people you see walking down the street who just like look like they're totally nuts, having an animated conversation with nobody because they got a little thing in their ear to look like a crazy person. So I mean, like, is that real value? I'm like, I don't know. Sure, it's a moderate convenience or whatever, but I do think things like I just imagine glasses. You know, they have those stupid transition lenses. I shouldn't say stupid. Maybe they're good. You go in the sun and it
They're
turns
not.
into yeah, everyone hates them, but
I have them, and like you go outside in the winter here, and you come back in, and they don't transition back,
right,
because the snow, the sun on the snow has made us it's like Phoenix out there or something. No, it's -10, and there's a bunch of snow on the ground, and it's sunny out. So I guess now my glasses think I'm.
hashtag
sun.
Canada problems.
I know, but
So I mean, and again, like I would say that's a very limited technology, right? Like it's you have limited control over it. It's probably more like a chemical thing. But think of glasses where imagine you're walking somewhere in the dark and they just have like night vision mode, but it just looks like your regular glasses, and all of a sudden it just like makes you see like there are night vision goggles. Like when are they going to integrate this stuff? And he's like, well, that's kind of cool. If you had glasses that really augmented your vision as you went, like or like glasses that had like auto zoom mode that you can control with your eyeballs. I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like I would be like, okay,
Who
maybe
are
I
you
want
and what
glasses.
have you done with Mike Hodgins?
yeah, I thought he was gonna be the troublesome one.
Yeah, can
I was
you
out in the
go get him? Like, I'm like,
Well, I like some technologies because
I think
about
the
that.
wearable part is more enticing for tech than anything Mike said. Not to speak for you, Mike, but if it's like involves sitting at a computer with your gut hanging out, going, ugh, Mike is not into it. Doesn't want to. But if it involves like if it helped him rock climbing to know how many.
Okay,
what angle he's at on the rock climbing, or help him
here.
I don't know. What do you need a rock climbing?
Let me bring you the real Mike back a little bit. So on the weekend, it was I was out I was out doing a 10-kilometer backcountry ski in the Gatineau Park up on this ridge, and with my buddy Robert Crofton, Robert, of course. We're out skiing there in the middle of nowhere, and then we came across this like these big imprints of moose that had slept in the ground with the poop and stuff like that. They had pooped, and I was like, it's a moose. I couldn't see it. And I'm like, I can envision having glasses that you wear that could be like, oh, moose, and it could identify the tracks that you saw and then be like headed in this direction. When was a track made? Like I could see the technology of something like that being really appealing to someone who's out and about.
The applications
sometimes
for bird watching.
Exactly, Bo. You brought it right back. And so I'm like, what kind of tree is this? I don't know what kind of tree it is. But it's funny because the thing is, I was talking about phone. The phone can basically do all those things. I was like, I could look up moose tracks.
The thing is about the phone is that the wearable tech is the additional piece of technology that allows the phone. It just harnesses the computing power of the phone. Eventually, your glasses that will start off as just basically a tether to the phone are going to have the technology to do all that computing within the device. The Apple Watch has already come there, where the first one is sort of very much just a second screen, but now is totally a separate device from your phone. So I think you'll get there where the first set of moose poop glasses will have to rely on your phone. And then the second set will be, oh, wow, now it can do it without your phone. And you don't have to bring your phone. That's the best part. So when I got my Apple Watch, I realized, oh, wait, if I load my podcast on here and I have my wireless AirPods, I don't have to strap my giant phone to my shoulder, right? Or to my upper arm.
Can you do calls through the Apple Watch?
You can do calls through the Apple Watch. It can be a little annoying in the sense that you're now like your phone is ringing, but now your wrist is ringing,
What
especially
superhero
when you
would
don't want
talk
to
to
answer
their
it.
watch? Wasn't there a superhero that'd be like, "We're on our way"?
Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy.
Okay.
1950s
It's
guys.
pretty cool, I
No,
gotta
but
say.
that's interesting. It is interesting how my brain has turned off these tech watches, which used to be like watches was where tech existed. So you either had you could have a calculator on your watch. I
Uh-huh.
had a watch that had an FM radio in it. I could plug it in and be like, listen, I'm listening to the radio.
Did it have a
And
big antenna that came out of it too?
yeah,
Like,
you could pull
I
out an
imagine the
antenna or
1980s. You're like, oh
Oh
yeah.
my
yeah.
gosh,
Oh
really?
man. It was like, or the dream was the Dick Tracy watch, and you'd see these spot like Get Smart, which was a show from the 50s or 60s. The whole big thing was that he had a phone in his shoe. It was like he'd take off the shoe and be like, "Hello, cheap," and you'd be like, "Wow, that's amazing! I can't believe it." Imagine that, having a portable phone in your shoe. And now it's just like we have so much tech and we have so many abilities that put us well beyond like what we possibly imagined. And now I am like, I don't want a friggin' phone. I don't want to all these gadgets in my watch. That's stupid. Just give me a regular watch or no watch or whatever. I got a phone already. It's like it feels like it's got to prove itself to me for me to get it. And but I wonder because like I think about how I turned around on the earbuds. Is wearable tech one of those things where it's easy to cast dispersions to, but then as soon as you get it, you're like, oh shit, where has this been my whole life? This is amazing.
You have to, you really do kind of have to give it a shot. And unfortunately, most of the wearable tech that is super useful is also very expensive. So your wireless earbuds, I'm in the same boat. I didn't have to pay for them. I was given them, and I was like, okay, I'll try this out. I've always wanted to, and now I can't live without them. They announced the Apple AirPod
You could
Pros.
probably live without
I could live
them,
without
Ryan.
them. It's not. I could probably live without them. But like, I listen to so many podcasts that I can't go back to wire. Like, I can leave my phone wherever I want, whether it's in my pocket or on my desk, and I can walk around the whole house and keep listening to my podcast. And that is essential when you're like, you just get the kids to bed, and okay, I have an hour before my next podcast. Let's just clean up everything, and I can leave my phone on the table, and I can just go do what I got to do. I don't have to worry about cords. Oh, I forgot it. I pull my phone off the table. That's great. So you're right. I can live without it. It's a convenience. But the same thing with the watch, right? Like, you have to buy into it, and it is expensive. And can you live without it? Of course you can live without it. But is it helpful from time to time? Is it a shortcut to your phone to determine whether you want to quickly text that person back or actually engage with them on your phone? Like, it's a shortcut to, those are still shortcuts to your phone, right? But it's convenience.
Have you
Those
guys ever
types.
used this thing like these tiles like or they
Yes.
when you stick
What's
them on
that?
something? It's like so I'm holding it up here. What it is it's like a little. This one's called Tile Mate, but they're different things. You can
Mhm.
connect them to things like your keychain. You can put them in your wallet. Some people put them under their bike seat. People keep telling me because I keep getting my bike ripped off that if I had it if you had one of these under your bike seat, you'd be able to find your bike. But I've got like 3 of them that I've not opened any of them because I'm scared of technology.
Yeah,
But
then the criminals are
They
like,
could
sweet,
literally,
now I know
they
where all
are
the good shit
trackers.
is.
Yeah, I'm like, Jesus, where's
You-
my wallet? My wife's like, did you put in that tile mate thing? I'm like, no, god damn it. But it's like
But
it's
it's not going to tell
essentially
you where it is in your house, right? It's going to be like, oh, great, it's in my house. You're like, is it under the cushion or is it in
no,
the bathroom?
I don't know.
It's
I
not
don't
that
know.
yeah, it's not
I
that
don't-
precise. It's
I don't know
so
about that.
a lot of them are, so I have a couple of them, and I have one on my keychain and I have one on my wallet. And essentially, I think what's helpful is you can tell its general location, but most are also allow you to send like a small chime.
Yeah, I
So
was gonna say that technology's been around for 20, 30 years. The what you whistle and then it makes a noise back at you. That I was like 10 and that existed to find
Oh.
keys in the house.
I
Oh,
didn't
really?
know about that.
Yeah, you just go. It wasn't like it didn't have a CPU in it, but you'd
So
whistle.
it's like a
and-
clapper. You just clap.
Yeah,
and
and that way you'd
But
find
that's
your
not,
keys.
again, that's not really wearable.
But you
No,
can't.
but
No. Hang
this-
on. It's a good,
wearable by
I
your
thought
devices,
the same
I
at
guess.
first, but it's to help you find your wearable devices. You talked. Well, I guess you don't wear a wallet either, do you? So,
No, but
yeah.
you put the thing in the wallet, and I don't know, like
I mean,
it's
I just
close.
consider what I find interesting about it, and the reason I wanted to bring it up is because the concept of it is to put some sort of technological element into something that does not have tech, right? Like a wallet, a set of keys,
A
stuff that you
wallet's a piece
carry
of
around.
technology, kind of.
Well, I mean, like you know what I mean, computer tech,
I
right?
got you. Okay.
Like,
All right.
so the idea is like, hey, these things that I carry around and I'm trying to keep track of, they don't have computers in them. So I'm just going to add computers for no reason other than to help me find them,
No.
right?
Well,
Like
convenience.
for convenience, I'm going to make things more trackable, like or whatever. And
Where
so
to find that Crofton? See,
I'm just saying, like for me, my apprehension with wearable tech really stems to the sharing of the continued sharing of personal data to a ridiculous level. I just find them so intertwined that I can't just think about the conveniences that are offered by it when I think about all this other stuff and how that data is used. It's really tough for me to parse those things apart.
We're
I'm
back
just
on the data.
No,
I
well,
just
didn't
I mean,
ima-
realize the data would.
I
I
just
actually didn't think data would be such a big part of the
well, no,
conversation. But
it's
you are right. Like
well, it
so
it's
no.
is part of it.
yeah, I didn't
That's
realize.
just it. That's just it for me. And it's just like, but like even in a good way, like Mike's talking about the hearing aids and I know it's not wearable, but the pacemakers and stuff. Like the idea is the information shared by that goes to your doctor or whatever, and then if there's failure, then emergency
Mhm.
responders come right away. There's benefits to all this,
Yeah, that's a
So
good point. Is emergency response. So Ashley's nanny, her grandmother, has a necklace that she wears that is essentially a panic button, and it's connected to a service that when she hits that button, calls a first contact, and if that first contact does not pick up, it then dials 911. And that's an old school tech. It's essentially
Yeah, it's
just
been
like
around a while, I
it's
think.
just a pager, that dials a number on a receiver connected
but
to the phone.
it's wearable
But
tech
it
for
is
sure.
wearable
Yeah.
and it's early stuff. And I also think back to the fitness trackers. My father had a heart attack last Christmas, and the
Oh.
doctor subscribed a shit ton of medicine, but also you have to go buy a fitness tracker
Hmm.
because you need to monitor your heart rate. And before, you used to have weekly, check-ins at the hospital, or go to shoppers and check your blood pressure or whatever. But now you can just kind of wear. I took him into Best Buy. We bought a
Hashtag
Fitbit.
Canada.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. You could go to the doctor once a week and it didn't kill you. Hey, so he's got a fitness tracker, and that was just prescribed by his doctor. And they literally, you talk about data, they literally have him bring his phone in, and they look at his screen, they download his data and say, okay, you did really good except for this one day where you didn't exercise, so now I'm going to yell at you for like 10 minutes. So
Hmm.
it's wearable tech that is not just about convenience. It's literally, it helps him to continue living healthily.
It is interesting, the medical devices aspect of this, which I guess includes the hearing aid thing. But like my wife a couple of weeks ago, she had something similar to your dad. I mean, she didn't have a heart attack, but and sorry to hear about that. Hopefully he's
Oh,
okay.
he's okay. It was a
Good.
wild experience. He's doing fine. And it's one of those things where you don't anticipate it because he seems so healthy, but really anyone
Yeah.
can have a heart attack. It's sometimes just a series of unfortunate events, and
Yeah.
the road to recovery is, I think, somewhat simple, but also one that requires like dedication, because you have to basically do everything right in order to get back to fighting shape. So he's doing really well now, for sure. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. That'd
Mm.
be a friend of mine, her father, again, out of nowhere, who was younger than my dad, I think, had a heart attack, and he passed away.
Yeah.
He's just like that, and I think people didn't see it coming. I think that's the
Mhm.
thing with heart attacks. It's like, so my wife does not have that kind of heart condition, but she had like she's low blood pressure, and it's like had a flutter a little bit. And then so the hospital said, you got to wear this thing
Mhm.
for like 2 weeks. And so that's wearable tech for sure, except she had to actually like stick the little whatchamacallits like in different parts on her body. I think she had 3 of those stick on, I don't know what you call them. and then yeah, so she day and night, and then they download the data and do something with it. So for sure, like for the medical perspective, medical devices perspective, there's a ton of stuff. Oh, Bo wants to chime in here.
Yeah,
He's
Bo's
got
got
something.
something.
That's
He's
not
got
just
something.
medical. I don't want to cut you off, but I just realized like
Don't say it, Crofton. Stop it.
My day
He's
job.
like, have you guys heard of a certain little device?
No. I work in dosimetry, which is wearable technology. Like you can get really expensive Geiger counters that measure radiation and provide you with results. And you wear it. It's wearable technology.
Yeah,
and I came up with
if a
I
panic button
contributed to the
is a
conversation,
necklace.
but no, literally people
but
who
see
work
what
with
it
source
is,
of
'cause-
radiation have to know whether or not they're getting, radiated, and they have to stop working or before they get too much and get poisoned. So yeah, there's also industrial applications. We're thinking of commercial, and we're talking about medical, but there are probably plenty of scientific and industrial situations where wearable tech is also important. Like, and I'm just trying to think of other ones. I'm thinking of the one that I'm involved with, but like, isn't
No, for sure there's other ones, but it's funny because as what we're talking about this, it's kind of like what's emerging is like actually, wearable tech's been around for a while. It's not like a new thing. I just had in my head, like in our podcast, like some bear walks in who's got a neck collar on. He's like, "I'll tell you, I don't care so much for this wearable tech, man." And as he's walking around in the bush,
Only you could stop forest fires.
Exactly. It's like
your dog, Snoopy, Mike's cat, just lands on. It's like, take off this goddamn collar.
These cones suck.
Yeah. Like I mean, we're using it on animals. That's a wearable tech,
Yeah.
Stick it on it and see what they. But it's been around for like a while, and I think we've taken some of these older applications kind of for granted. They're very specific, and I think with me, I keep coming back to like the phone element where I think that like. The phone, the iPhone, and it's and all the what's around it. That was like the big breakthrough, right? Putting these like computers, and some of the early wearable tech was pretty primitive. It's like a radio signal or something like that. So the real breakthrough is like, okay, crazy computer in your phone that does all kinds of stuff. And I see a lot of this wearable tech that we're talking about as like little tweaks on this. We were talking about this when we were talking about Amazon of like, look, a lot of companies are just being like, they're just smoothing their edges. They're finding little things. The major innovation happened already. And I feel like when we're talking about wearable tech, I'm waiting for like the next leap to be really interested in this stuff. Like to have a Google Watch or like or headphones that don't have a wire. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's like related to the phone. But once it's really like augmented reality, like when it's really like taking your sense stuff and seamlessly connecting them to technology, that's going to be a wearable tech revolution. And I don't think we're there yet. Right now, I think it's just again ancillary devices that are kind of phone related.
It's the drone hat. Like I've been thinking about Inspector Gadget. I've been thinking about Inspector Gadget this whole episode. Remember, he would make a helicopter come out of his hat, and he'd have the handlebars, and he'd fly like that.
Well,
like,
DJI
that's
is close, right?
Like I think
he was all wearable tech all the time.
But he also had cyborg and implants, and those don't count. But he definitely had the hat,
sweet jacket.
Yeah, the jacket. But like, I think that it's feasible that we could wear a hat that has drones that does remote operations for us in some capacity. Like, I don't like we have grab arms, but what about instead of grab arms, you have a little remote control. It's cerebrally connected if we get that far, but if not, you have a little remote control, and it can, let's say those restaurants where they have waiters, but you pay at the cash. Well, you could use your drone hat to bring your credit card to the cash and have it paid, and then
that's what everyone's
back.
Gonna love. These flying blades going around the restaurant.
They're little, not big ones, little ones, just little ones.
Little micro
they still
drones.
sound
You
like
get 4 of them. Yeah, you'd be at a restaurant having dinner, romantic dinner, and there's always like.
They're all network.
I would love that. If I was at the restaurant, what would I like? Bo would be over this table, and his drone hat would be flying over, and I would like smash it into the air. Get that goddamn thing, break, and Bo would be like, "I paid $1,000."
Think about it. If the waiter doesn't have time to come bring you like ketchup for your table, you can send a drone over to get a ketchup deposit and bring it back. Like, society could change if everyone had access to 4 floating drones that they could use very easily to access difficult inconvenient items. Like
difficult things like walking to the cash register. It's so hard.
I think that's too small. Like that's small, right? Like
I also imagine Bo puts the thing in his wallet, and it's like, you have $0 in it. Like updates technology of what's in his wallet.
But there's other applications. Like if you're on the bus and it's super crowded and you can't reach a button or a string, you can send your drone out to do it for you, for example.
On the bus? Have you seen the people that ride the bus, Bo? That drone's not coming back.
Well, the technology would be affordable, so no one would rip it off.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It wouldn't be
everyone
expensive.
No, they would break it.
I like how Bo's gone so far down this one particular rabbit hole about these drones. Like that would be part of like his overall.
I feel like I'm being Nostradamus here. I'm predicting the future as we speak.
Just figured if there was that in the hat and the shoes and everything I said, it would be all part of like this wearable ecosystem where like your whole body, you look at your phone, everything would be, recorded. There would be like high marks, low marks, everything would be like, oh, 4 thrusts, new record, it would be all recorded. And so like, it would be part of your information profile to an extent that like, that's why I keep coming back to the data. But I tell you, one thing I'll say this episode is that Mike, and I hate it when Mike brings up stuff. It makes me think about things in different ways. God damn it. But this was an episode where he really did in talking about the health uses and Ryan is as well with his father's experience and stuff. So I'm just I'm torn on this one. I do not know where I'm going.
I could tell you a story that literally happened to me. I wrote it down because I wanted to remember, and it might change you back from the medical side of things. So I first got a watch. I borrowed it from my brother, and it was a Fitbit watch. And I'm standing, and it's new, right? So when you get new tech, you just want to kind of play with it. So I'm in Best Buy, and I'm like ready to check out. So I'm waiting at the cashier in line, and I keep checking my watch. I keep looking at my watch, thinking like, okay, what can I do while I'm waiting? And then this lady comes over and she says to me, "He's like, oh, have you been waiting long? Do you need help?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I'm fine. I'm just waiting and playing with my new watch and stuff." It's like, "Oh, I saw you checking your watch constantly. I thought maybe you were frustrated and you wanted to leave or something." And I was like, "Oh."
She read that as you being like, "Oh."
She thought and I told her, "It's like, man, this watch makes me feel like such an asshole." Because literally I was just sitting here, killing time, and I was in no rush. So I think that's where like you have to, those types of devices you do have to treat as a convenience, because if you don't, you try to treat them as basically such a useful device as a phone that can do so much, it does kind of like put you in this weird sort of element, right? But I with the medical stuff and the convenience side of things, I think it does, like this new wearable sort of phase is an interesting path, right? But there are definitely ways where the wearables become sort of evil and kind of obstruct your your humanity, right? Whether it's your data or your connection, your social connection, like the AirPods are a great example,
right? Like it's to a certain extent it's more barriers to maybe your natural self. It sounds bad. Hey, you know what's wearable tech? Those Mission Impossible masks that they pull off all the time.
Because aren't they like, they have like weird like screens in them? They're like your Doom shirt essentially.
I don't know what else is wearable tech that
all my ideas were realistic though.
Weren't
you just had one and it was the drones and your flashlight?
It's not movie magic.
Man,
it's
have you
actually
seen
possible.
They could do it. They could do small, like if you. So basically, this is a tangent, but it's going to be worth it because it's about drone hats. So DJI makes this new drone. It's so small. They've made it so small that it barely just inches under the new transport, not new, but the semi-new Transport Canada rules on drones. They made it like a sliver of a kilogram or a gram smaller than the rule. So technically, within the rules, you can fly anywhere outside of Parliament Hill and military bases. It'll change. Transport Canada, like
they're like, oh,
the rules will be changed. Yeah, they'll change the rules. They'll be like, oh, okay, well, this everything, any drone now outside of a weight. The reason they do weights is basically so the toy drones. But this This is a real drone that weighs less than, I think it's 250 grams or something. And you can do everything with it. You can, I mean, you can't pick things up yet. That's the dream, right? But you can do what you would normally do with a drone, like do cinematography,
Spy on
and
people in their bedrooms.
I mean,
Is
that's
that what people do with drones?
I don't know. All I know with drones
don't-
is they do a
I
surveying
think
and
the
video
spy
capturing.
has to be small enough.
Um,
Like I don't
Here's
think
another
you have a big peeping tom.
They are so quiet too.
Oh,
Honestly, I've a year between working with drone technology. 1 year we had one that sounded like a helicopter taking off, or what you would imagine a drone with 4 propellers would sound. And then the next year you get one again, still 4 propellers,
I saw
but
them
it's
using
silent.
one
It's
like
amazing.
in my building. I saw them using one to just survey the grounds, like they were just doing
Mhm.
surveying and sending the drone up and bring it back down. But it was
okay,
noisy.
here's the question. Here's the
No,
question
I'm
for you guys.
talking, Mike.
They can
Oh,
be
I thought
noisy.
you were just talking about a drone going
We
up
were
and down.
talking about-
I have a question.
Well, Ryan was interested. If you weren't,
Okay. he was humoring you. You know those
Stop
things.
fighting.
Okay, you guys have seen these where people are standing on these little platforms that have like 2 wheels. It's not a Segway. You
Oh.
just stand on them and kind of lean,
Mhm.
and it zips you along the sidewalk. Is that wearable tech?
No.
No,
Is a horse a wearable tech?
no. You're the wearable tech
Is
on
a
a horse.
snowboard
Yeah.
wearable?
So if I'm riding a board that rolls or a beast with legs, I'm riding it. It's a riding situation.
Okay, so you're riding that thing. Yeah. Here's the other one I thought of that I'm like, okay, we missed this one. I'm like, prosthetics. That's wearable tech, right?
Oh, that's a
Actually
good one.
useful wearable tech, where someone who's like, I can't walk, and he's like, hey, here's a fake leg that's sweet.
I
Or like-
guess so. It occurred to me too, but I felt like if I put a prosthetic on it, I guess I'm wearing the prosthetic.
Yeah, you're wearing it, and
Okay.
it's giving your mobility.
So we
know,
can
and-
talk about robot arms.
We could
yeah,
talk about
and in the
robot
case
arms.
of that murderous
Sweet, they
track
get-
athlete
Cut
from
my
South
limbs off
Africa,
now. I just want to be a torso and head with sweet robot limbs that can.
I don't think
shred
they're as good as
mankind.
your regular
It's
arm.
not quite there yet.
Yeah.
Probably-
plastic Barbie doll arms. I'm like, look, guys, I got new technology arms.
You're gonna
Don't race
have,
out
like,
and cut your arms off.
The Game of Thrones guys, like metal hand, like clang clang.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, welcome to the.
But seriously,
but-
if we had Deus Ex level tech OGs, I'd be cutting.
But
my
look,
limbs.
and that stuff is probably coming. But like prosthetics have come a long way. Like you have people who are missing like a foot, or half a leg, who are able to walk because of wearable technology, and that is technology because there's a lot of advanced stuff going on in them. I don't know that they're using like gyroscopes or things like that yet, but they're definitely using like carbon fiber springs. Like technology is not just chips and computers; it's also what do you call it? Material sciences, things like that.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
a big part of this, and I mean, there's definitely
guys,
some real. Oh, okay. And
I
here's
have
the,
the
thing.
big one. I have the blitzkrieg of all ideas, but I'll let I want Michael. I'll let you finish. Come back to me.
I almost sent this to Bo because he's so anxious to cut off all his limbs and body and have it replaced with a robot. But I saw this article talking about construction applications of wearable exoskeletons, and it was like, and it looked pretty cool. It wasn't quite
Like aliens,
Ripley
right?
and Aliens. It wasn't quite like that big, but it was like. It looked pretty cool. It was the whole exo frame, and you could hold like 200 pounds with it and not feel exhausted and not feel tired. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And apparently, these things you can buy them now. They're made by like Lockheed Martin, and they're using them again for construction applications.
Does the hydraulics help you lift more, or is it like a
help you lift
thing?
more, and also help you lift things that are awkward and not get tired. So it's like it's taking the weight of like a heavy piece of machinery off your body and
Good
putting
for your
it on.
back.
Yes, and that's what they're saying. They're saying like, look, if you're doing this vibrating
I don't
jackhammer
have
thing, you
these.
can only
I
can only do it for
work
10
with my
minutes.
dad in refrigeration, and it'd be like, we got to move this 500-pound compressor. Like my dad tore an ACL. He went into physio for years because of just that. They constantly lift these heavy cast iron like tanks and like compressors.
Why didn't he
and
live in
engines.
2020
And I'm
instead of
just like-
1989?
I'm just like, now in refrigeration, they can buy exosuits and their workers can stay healthier longer. If they would just stop being macho and be like, you effing pussy, you lift that fuck. Sorry, you lift that thing. Like, that's what that culture's like. Which is, I'm like,
thing, though-
Dad, it's heavy. I don't want to lift
No,
it. He's
no,
like,
no.
you be a man. You be a man and not a little beep, you know, and it's like,
I just imagine that as soon as the exoskeletons get that good, it's going to be followed directly by robots that'll just do it, and then they'll be like, "What? You can't lift that fridge, you pussy!" And picks up the fridge and carries it across the
oh
room.
my god.
These
Of course,
robots
they'd
are
have to
fresh.
program macho bullshit
Much,
into the.
yeah. But I've
work
got the
it.
Blitzkrieg if you're ready for it.
Okay, let's
And
hear
I
it.
want to hear
Go.
Ryan's reaction first.
Okay.
The penultimate wearable tech, jetpack. The jetpack. It's a
if you
backpack.
don't-
You wear it, and it shoots you up into the sky. And I want one.
Yeah. I think
If you don't think the wheels on your feet thing was wearable tech,
You wear
I
a
don't think the
jetpack. It has a
jetpack
word
counts.
pack in it, and anything that's a pack.
Do you wear your
wear.
shoes, Bo? Do you wear your
Yes,
shoes?
I wear my shoes.
So if you
I
have
mean,
if you have
if-
wheels on them that have a motor, that's wearable tech.
Yeah, if
I
the
thi-
shoes have wheels on them, that's fine.
Yes.
But it's the fact that they're not attached to you. If you stand on a board and you're not attached to it, you're riding it.
Okay,
If
fine.
it's fastened to your body in some way, which the jetpack
Like
is.
he's right. Jetpack is and there is backpack technology, right? Like they have backpacks that now have like built-in, power adapters so you can charge your phone. That's a type of technology, right? They
or
have backpacks with-
avalanche breathing apparatus so you don't die when you're
Yeah.
backcountry skiing.
Yeah, like so there's plenty of like everything from just a very generic Paw Patrol backpack to the life-saving
Oh, no, don't
awesomeness
talk about Paw
of
Patrol, please.
I all I remember is that I get told every day how great that Paw Patrol backpack is. So
If you guys start
Uh,
talking about Paw Patrol, I'm like leaving for 10 minutes.
I
I'm
mean,
literally
there's a
getting
lot
up
of
and leaving.
wearable tech in that show. I don't want to alarm you.
Yeah, there
but-
is a lot. Is that a promise, by the way, Bo?
Oh, yeah.
Because-
What was the promise? I missed it because I was thinking about Paw
He'll-
Patrol.
he'll-
I
leave
said
for
if
10
you start
minutes.
talking about Paw Patrol, I'm leaving for 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes. The
All
time
right,
is
I'm
no,
out.
I'm just kidding.
I'm
I'm
out.
kidding. I'm kidding.
Don't go. I might
Bye.
leave too.
Bye.
I was joking. He can't
Paw
hear us. All
Patrol-
right, now we gotta walk. Okay, 10 minutes. Is he recording still?
I hope so. Paw
Okay.
Patrol is on a roll.
Yeah.
It is funny though because wearable tech, like in pop culture, is like we talked about Dick Tracy, we talked about like a lot of stuff, but Mission Impossible, all of that stuff, it
Mhm.
is entrenched in the human imagination. Like it's just like anything you can think of, any show you can think of, any movie you can think of, especially science fiction. It's gonna have
He's
some
literally
sort
left
of
the house.
wearable tech. He's probably going to use the bathroom or set a
he's
new
gonna smoke.
record.
Is,
Oh,
is
yeah.
smoking is a cigarette wearable tech?
I don't think so.
Incidentally, I did the homework because I know that none of you would, and I Google searched for eye fleshlight, like a smart fleshlight, to see if one existed. And in fact, there are some with like Bluetooth and stuff. So I mean, like Bluetooth is in everything, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
I just thought of some wearable tech that I
Uh-huh.
got for Christmas, which is sort of silly. It's funny. This topic is expanding in all kinds of things I didn't think.
I know. I honestly just when I thought of it, it was like, okay, yeah, watches, earphones, and then we talk about medical devices and even
Yeah.
industry devices. That's crazy.
No, it's funny because I saw the same thing. I'm like, oh yeah, like the Google glasses, like whatever, and earphones. But so for Christmas, I got heated socks. So these are socks with wires in them, and then the batteries attached to the top of the socks, and they keep your feet warm. Totally wearable. It's totally technology. It's got electricity running through it. It's awesome because I always have problems with cold
Yeah,
feet.
you
Go
do.
out all day, no problems at all. It's amazing. And the socks, the socks have an app that I can on my phone control the heat level of my socks.
Just hang on 1 second. I can hear
You want to go back to Paw Patrol before he gets in here? So
Bo's Ridge.
Oh, I got a funny comeback when he gets back on. I don't want
Okay,
to.
go ahead.
Yeah. So essentially, we were talking about Inspector Gadget. Do you really think like maybe Inspector Gadget, if they brought it back, like he almost got there, but I think if they brought him back again, like he would elevate trench coats again. Like trench coats might come back into favor.
I thought you were.
I think
That was a really weird discrepancy from our conversation on Paw Patrol that we've been having for the past 10 minutes.
Is
But,
it over? Is it over, please?
You just
We
switched
basically
back.
talked for like 10 seconds, and then when you left, it's like, well, let's go back to where.
We talked about drone hats for 10 minutes.
No, we
maybe.
didn't. We talked about Inspector
Yeah.
Gadget and the trench
Well,
coats.
I had
I've
another
never
thought.
seen
While I was
yeah.
out walking, I was able to contemplate. It's an unfair advantage, but CPAP are
I
also
Google,
wearable.
yeah.
CPAP's a good one. That's wearable.
What's that?
That's when you snore so much that you choke at night and can't sleep properly. I believe, like you
Oh,
can't breathe.
sleep
So
apnea. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
sleep
sleep
apnea.
apnea
That's what it's
max.
called. Yeah.
So the Mike mentioned heated socks too, which is funny
Mhm.
because
Oh, I like that. Yeah, heated stuff.
Yeah, and
I
Bo,
actually
they
have a
have
battery pack. I have a battery pack that I can plug into my phone that heats my glove.
Yeah, right. Wearable. That's
Ooh.
all wearable tech. This whole thing is expanded, and
I feel like it's
Oh,
expanded to the point
damn.
we need to do verdicts.
Thi-
I'm losing
Yeah,
my
I
mind
mean,
here.
But Ryan's I can't talk about it. I came up with a new science fiction idea for a
okay, let's
story,
hear it.
and it involves
Oh.
wearable tech. But I'm not telling you because I don't want people to steal it because it's awesome. Well, maybe I'll tell
That's
you.
all right.
Is it
And
really?
while you were gone, I talked about how wearable tech's all over science fiction. So this is a perfect cue to bring in the animals and to do verdicts before one of us dies in his goddamn chair. It could be anybody.
All right, here they
So-
come. Here they come.
Order, I said.
Order in the cart. Ryan, since you're our guest, you get to choose. If going last is always the most advantageous because you get the final word, but going first gives you an advantage in the sense that your verdict can possibly sway the rest of ours if you feel it's necessary.
You know, I honestly, so I can go first just to kick us
No,
off.
don't be polite. It's what you want. It's
Is
like
that
it's
polite?
it's like your birthday, except you're not getting gifts. You just get to pick which order you give your verdict in.
All right. Well, since Crofton is dying in his chair, let's have Crofton go first.
Good
So he can
call.
go to bed.
See, that's why Ryan's a good man, Crofton.
Perfect. That's great because I do have to do one thing really quickly, like Bo did. So, okay. So
Smoke?
no, for me, I'm not going to rehash the struggle that I had, the big data versus convenience and stuff. I think we did a good job of parsing apart the fact that there's medical usage for wearable tech, a lot that you don't think of off the top of your head, and then there's the convenience usage that I think that people do think of, or the sort of like tech hunter sort of stuff. And I think one thing that's funny about wearable tech is if you look back at it, like we were talking about the watches earlier, but if you look back at old versions of wearable tech, it always looks insanely dorky. Like it's never like super cool or trendy except in the exact moment that it's happening, and then it immediately becomes quite dated. So I think that when evaluating its benefit, you have to look at how it serves you in that moment in time, and not like you're not doing it for its timelessness or for a coolness factor or for fashion or whatever. And then on the other side, the medical uses, I think all of it was positive. So I went from a position, and it's very rare that I do this on a topic where I was skewing negative at the beginning. Like I was between bad and bullshit as a verdict. Then I find myself between good and bullshit as a verdict. And I think that I'm going to have to say, with all the positive benefits and the improvements that continue to happen with wearable tech, the wearable tech is good. It's good.
Wow.
That's a
Alright.
big mental shift for me over an episode.
That's hard. It's hard for Crofton. Saying
Good for you,
something's good is
Crofton.
hard. All right, Mike, you go up next. Or should
Sure.
I go next? No, you go next.
I know. I'll just because I'm basically going to echo Crofton's verdict here, which is well, the thing that popped up to me the most as I was saying at the end was that this topic expanded much beyond when I initially thought. I was like, okay, like little techie gadgets, phone linked or whatever, augmented reality. But I think it occurred as the conversation went on. Is like, look, this is not new. It's been around a long time. People have been using technology in some form or another. And though we glossed it over, clothing, like as Bo pointed out, like that's technology. It all is. And honestly, there's so much good or useful about it that I'm just gonna say good right now. It's good. Wearable tech is good. And just the one thing that I guess to follow up on that is I do think like any tech, some of it is silly, some of it is pointless, some of it is frivolous, like whatever. And you look like a dork when you're wearing a Bluetooth thing in your ear, That's it. I'm sorry, people who love the Bluetooth in your ear. You look like an idiot. Take it out. You don't really need that thing. But I think that really the other thing I would add when the augmented reality component comes in, which I think it will, it's not far off. Then I think that's going to be a whole different revolution in wearable tech, really integrating with senses and integrating with data. That's the next wave, and I don't think we're there yet. I think we're still playing with gimmicks, but with the whole like prosthetics and medical uses, it's a good thing. Hopefully it's going to go good places too. So yeah, good.
All right, well, that's a great verdict. I'm going to keep mine short and sweet, and then Ryan will bring up the rear with the final verdict and the final word on the subject. All I gotta say is drone hats, jetpacks, hearing aids, CPAP machines, augmented reality glasses. I mean, it speaks for itself. It's all good. It's funny though. The one thing I will say is that for all my enthusiasm about wearing technology, I have, apart from glasses and clothes and shoes, I have no wearable technology. I'm too lazy to, not lazy, I don't like managing items on my person. So, but it's still good. That's to give it a good verdict. All right, Ryan, you're up. The moment
The
we've
second
all
they,
waited for.
it's true. But the second they launch the drone hat, you're day one. You're in the drone hat.
I mean, I feel like I
line.
should patent it, right? Like,
You might want to cut this stream and just patent it. Just go right to the patent office. They're still open. I'll be honest, when we talked about today, me coming on the show, and then like, oh, we want you to do the topic, and I tried to come up with a topic, and I thought this one was like, when it popped in my head, it's like, okay, they haven't done this before, then I think it's guaranteed to get a good mixture of verdicts from across the board, between good, bad, and bullshit. Right. But that was based purely on the fact that I was looking at what I had on my wrist, what I usually have in my ears, and the, what I had before with the fitness trackers and stuff. I honestly hadn't thought of hearing aids, hadn't thought of CPAP machines. You're right. They're all wearable technology. I mean, I could have come in and said like wearable technology tied to your phone or something like that, but that would feel like a cop out. I think wearable technology as a whole, when you look at medical, you look at industrial, you look at convenience, it's good. I think it outweighs what could make it bad or bullshit. It's good.
yeah. I think the wearable part, the really key thing is just that you don't know it's there. I don't think about my glasses ever, but it helps me. And your earbuds, you stop thinking about how sweet it is, and you just live with it.
Or when you're out in the cold with your sweet heated socks and your feet don't get cold, you're like, oh yeah,
oh man,
wearable tech.
So speaking of things that are sweet and hot, your emails, we think they're sweet and hot, and we'd love for you to send us some. So we want to hear your verdicts, especially on this one. Ryan brought a good verdict. I give this verdict a verdict of good. I mean, I give this topic a verdict of good. It's one of our better ones. So thank you, Ryan, for the excellent contribution. So if you want to contribute your verdicts to the show, email us, goodbadbull@gmail.com. I remember Kel Norum said he was going to write 20 emails, but he only wrote one. So we'd love to hear from you some more, bud. I feel a little bad, by the way. I have to issue an apology. I think we were a little harsh on the rapper he recommended. And
what was it, Bill Smith?
I don't remember, but we laughed at his name, and I honestly, I've been meaning to get back and listen to the rapper and give it an honest thing. I just haven't yet, but I'm gonna do that after the show today because
I don't even remember this at all. Was I on that episode?
It was some rapper, but it was literally just like
it was like Bob McDonald or something like that. I can't remember.
It was like Mike Smith or something. The rapper, I was like, what?
And it's funny how I know so many rapper names.
Or something.
Yeah, I know so many rapper names, and I have a hard time remembering that one. So, but I'm doing the thing I'm guilty of last time, so I'm going to stop it. I'm going to listen to it properly. Anyways, if you want to have your email read and then lampooned a bit and then eventually have an apology about it, do that by writing us at goodbadbull@gmail.com. You can find more about the show, Good Bad Bull. Now, Ryan, your business, tell us all about where we can find what you do on the internet, because believe it or not, he's not just a guest on Good, Bad, or Bullshit. He does some major productions of his own.
It's true. So you can follow me on Twitter at @rmurphy. I have a few podcasts, including The Gamers Inn that I do with Jocelyn Moffat. Sorry, I shouldn't say that. Jocelyn Kearney. I should be better about that.
Wow.
It's not very. I usually just call her Jocelyn. So, yeah, we do The Gamers Inn together. GamersInnPodcast.com. And I also do a show about zombies. It's on a bit of a hiatus now. Zombies Ate My Podcast, as Lou is recovering with technology, wearable technology, as he's slowly fixing his broken femur.
Man, that's rough.
Yeah, it's rough stuff. But he's doing much better. We're looking to return in March, so look forward to that. And finally, I shouldn't say finally. Also, Dungeons and Diapers. I have four podcasts. I shouldn't say finally or lastly, but I'll say Dungeons and Diapers with Crofton. We talk about dungeons, so our geek culture, the geeky stuff we're up to, and then the diapers, which is essentially changing diapers, kids, school, sickness, illness, people waking up in the middle of the night screaming. Usually it's them, sometimes it's me. So that's fun. And also I do a podcast about Fire Emblem Heroes, which is a mobile game called Summoner's Call, which is part of the Gamers Inn. You can find that at gamersinnpodcast.com as well. So
Are you doing any
lots of fun
stuff right now, or
no extra life stuff? Funny, we hit it so hard fall into the winter that come January they do roll over and be like, hey, you can sign up again, but we take a hiatus from Extra Life until probably like late summer, early fall.
You do is it 24 hours straight?
Yeah, well, we used to do 24 hours and it would kill me.
Good
and
for
then
you. Good
with
for you.
kids,
I hate that practice in streaming where it's like, I'm going to do this thing, but I'm going to do it for 24 hours. I'm like, it's unhealthy. Everyone's not doing that.
It is unhealthy.
Also,
we do it to raise money for the kids, right? So we just play. I think we do now 12-hour streams, which is still a lot, right? But it's a little more manageable because at the end of it, you can go to bed at a decent time and then wake up at a decent time. It's not that big a deal. So,
and as much as I'm supportive of the sick kids and making the sick kids not sick, I'm starting to turn against the sick kids with all the mentions of Extra Life. So I'm glad that the campaign takes a little break before it restarts again. And Brian,
you getting jealous of all the Extra Life talk on the show that you split 50-50
it takes a lot of time. Is because
it doesn't. But it takes a couple minutes at the top. That's about it.
It's for the kids though, right? Like,
Austin's like, oh, let me speak. I can't stand this charity shit. Oh my god.
I'll give you a 30-second ad hit at the top of the show, and
so
so
now
terrible.
that you've worked with Crofton for a little while, on a scale of 1 to 10, not to put you on the spot, but I told him on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't even know what the question is. Like a scale of 1 to 10,
like just on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yes, that's it. Just a scale of 1 to 10.
11.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say this is where
know.
Interject and give
Like a high 7s, like a 7.98.
Oh, you won't like that.
What was the only right answer? 11? Like,
Yeah,
come on.
Right answer was
Nobody's perfect.
Pretty much.
I would give myself about a high 7. Like, I'm not perfect.
I would have also accepted 0.
0.
All right.
You know what the problem is with going with a high 7 is like, ooh, he's being honest. 0 is like, haha, he's being funny. 11, haha, he's being funny. The 7.9.
I don't know about the 11 being funny. I think.
All right. Well, let's ask where these schlubs can be found on the internet as well. Michael, if people want to follow you, where can they do that?
Out in the woods looking at moose poop, of course.
Crofton, if our listeners want to find out more about where you are, where can they find
They
you?
can follow me online at Crofted Steers and hear all the latest hotness about Samsung earbuds and other stuff that I like to
Such
shill.
a lie. All you've been talking about is Kanoa and just how miserable your life is this week.
So guys, here's do you want to see what they look like? I brought them down for you.
Ooh.
So this is the
It's a
container.
box.
The
Okay,
lighting in your
box?
place is so bad; it just looks like
Look,
blackness.
and then
Hold
this
it up
is
to your
little-
mattress.
Look, I'm
so
gonna
we can
take
see
off
it.
this thing. I'm not gonna be able to hear you guys for a second. Watch this.
Hold it up to your
Oh,
mattress.
It's actually like a high 6 when we really think about it.
He's now putting a thing in his ear. Now
Yeah.
he's putting
Michael?
it in
What's
his
real
ear.
number? Real number 6,
You can't
right?
even tell, Michael. See?
It looks.
Real
It looks
number
I
like.
six,
can't
right?
hear you because the
Yeah,
earbuds
it's like a
are
high 6.
soundproof.
It looks
Okay.
like
It's
he's like
actually steadily going down since
jammed
he's like
gum
shoved
in
those things in his
That's what it looks like.
maybe like a 6.5.
Hey,
Maybe.
Crofton.
Look,
All right,
looks
I'm
like there's
back.
gum in your ear.
You're gonna have fun editing this one. You shouldn't edit it. You should just put it out. Don't even cut anything
I
out.
don't cut anything out.
Okay, perfect.
I have something
Yeah.
to mention
He
to
puts it out
Ryan at the
conveniently
end.
3 months later.
Sorry,
Bo, you
Mike.
didn't say where. I have something to talk to mention about this topic to Ryan at the end of the show.
Okay, so I'll just
But
say.
Bo, you gotta give your.
All right, you want to find me?
Yeah, you said
Schwartz
penultimate. What was the ultimate?
BoSchwartz.com. Oh, the
Yeah,
penultimate. What?
You said penultimate thing with the jetpack, but then
Yeah.
what was the ultimate one?
He
No.
he does he
Oh,
does
was
his
it the
own.
drone
The
hat?
drone hat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you lost me. I just.
Yeah.
Anyways, BoSchwartz.com.
BoSchwartz.
Oh,
Thanks,
hold
you,
on.
Ryan. All right.
Well, I
now
interrupted you, so I felt bad.
That's fine. I try to keep mine short and sweet. When we first started podcasting, I loved doing like, oh, where can you find us and spend 10 minutes. And I'm just like, it's Bo Schwartz. Anyways, whatever.
No, this one has been long. But
You know what?
Oh,
End the show, Bo.
No.
No.
I have something to say to
Man,
Ryan.
is it a 3 now? I think it's a 3 for me.
And this is almost a throwback to Ryan's last visit here on the show when we talked
Ooh.
about cosmetics, because you said, when he picked this topic, he thought, okay, it's going to give a wide band of potential opinions. And now, okay, so we had a couple topics in our long history that were exactly the same as this, where you initially start. One of them was plastic surgery. When plastic surgery came up, I was like, oh yeah, these people getting lip injections and boob jobs. What a stupid thing. And everyone's like, oh, war injuries. You got your face blown off in World War I. And you're like, oh yes, okay. No, that's good. And cosmetics was kind of that too. It seemed to me that there was that element where you're like, look, I had terrible acne when I was a kid. Some people are you have disfigurements and cosmetics. Like we got on that angle. You're like, right, yes. And this was very similar to that, where you're like, okay, there's all these medical applications and blah, blah, blah. So
all you think about is the Bluetooth, and then you realize, wait, there's cool stuff. And
yeah, your leg gets cut off. You can put on a new fake one.
Mm-hmm. No, the prosthetics was a great one. That's a great example of a medical device that is like, it's not only for convenience, but also so you can live like I mean,
it's totally tech, and it's because it's advancing a lot. Remember our Canadian hero Terry Fox? Poor man had to struggle with some, very difficult prosthetic. The ones they have now are light years ahead of what he did.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Terry Fox,
Incredible.
deep Canadian cut there.
Terry Fox, man, when's he going to be in the money? Right?
Why did Crofton leave? We need him to help us end the show.
Wasn't he on?
End the show, Bo. End the show.
He's back to end the
End
show.
the show.
Oh, he's still here.
All right,
Is this on?
Okay, I guess
End the show.